I consider myself to be fortunate to have as much space as I have to do my work. My wife and I purchased this home several years ago as a vacation spot, and no one ever came down, so use it as a studio space. I'm paying for it, and stuff's so expensive in DC. So I've been here almost a year now. So, studio's on the other side of this wall here. And here we are. So this is where it all happens. This is where most of the paintings are produced, paintings, drawings, whatever I'm working on happens up in this space. I spend many an hour up here running that downstairs, building the stretchers and doing whatever I need to do. So, give you a little bit of history, a little bit of historical data on some of these paintings and where the ideas and concepts come from. I'm going to bring it over to this painting right here. This was actually the first one I did. First one I did, and I never finished it. But it was a catalyst for everything else in the room. And I have an exhibit down at Howard University Art Gallery with another 25 paintings. All that came from this guy right here. Pause. So when I get upstairs, I have a stretcher for the canvas that I'm going to stretch. There's no clutter in here, I'll stretch it here. Bedroom's right over there, has as much floor space as well. And I lay the canvas out on the floor, lay the stretcher on it. This is pretty much a finished product right here. This is a canvas that was just recently stretched. I have several downstairs that I want to get up here and stretch as well to keep the ball rolling. It's a lot of work when you're doing it all by yourself. Building the stretcher, stretching the canvas, painting the paintings, building the frames, painting the frames, everything. I do it all, and I don't have any help right now. Right now I can't afford it. So I have to do it all. So I'm constantly pushing myself to make things happen. But I'm trying to push this more than I push everything else. The painting part. So I try to get as many stretchers and canvases stretched as I can, so I can just focus on painting from that point on. It's been fun. It's been a long ride, a year now, and in that year I've managed to put together about 40, 45 paintings. I think it's a pretty strong body of work. For this series of paintings, and the ones that aren't here, that are on exhibit at Howard University, the title is Dances with Line. I try to keep them as simple as I possibly can. I've never been one to complicate a work of art. I'm working with this flow. These lines as they flow through the canvas, one on top of each other, layered, and trying to create three-dimensional space on a two-dimensional surface, so there's a lot of shadows. They started out pretty much like this, with just a background, kind of back in there, and everything, the white, the grays, everything else was in the front of it, layered one on top of the other. Then I went through, and I hate to take you all the way over here, but I'm going to take you over here to this one, because this is when I started using the one-point perspective, which gave the painting even more depth. Along with the shadows where the white overlaps, you'll see a shadow in there just to pull them apart. But I think the one point, this is just one point perspective. I'm going to do some experiments with 2 and 3 points perspective as well. But this was the beginning of that, and I like it. So, people ask me, well, you know, where do you get your ideas? They come from within. Like I say, it was the dance with line. Back in the day, I used to sit down and do a lot of preliminary drawings before I even attempted to go to the canvas. And everything had to be just right, perfect, in order. And, you know, when I got to that point, I would go to the canvas and sketch it out. Nowadays, if I'm not doing a drawing itself, and I'm just doing paintings, I go directly to the canvas. I find that works better for me if I grab my pencil or something like that and just go directly to the canvas and start. So the small painting up here, the guy with the butt and everything else is going on. I'm fortunately, I'm a cancer survivor, prostate cancer. And I did that little painting after I had the treatment for prostate cancer. I had had so many prostate exams, I just wanted to put it down on canvas, so that's what that is. Not quite, but just something to remind me. That's what that painting is, and you know, that only one I keep for myself. This is, I would say, the second phase of Dances with Line. There'll be a third phase, and then it'll be phased out, and I'll move on to the next series of paintings. But I'm pretty excited about these. They're a little different. They're all the same in a way, but they're all different. And these are much different than the ones that I have on exhibit now. You know, I'm starting to add volume to them. I'm using various textures. More, I hate to use the word color, more tones on the grayscale incorporated in each painting. And I'm really liking the results. This one I find interesting. I stopped on this one because it was so much different from the rest. I mean, still, it fits within the theme, but it didn't have the background, it didn't have the depth. It was more flat than anything. And something about that interested me. So I just stopped, threw a quick frame around it so I could look at it a little bit and see how I'm really feeling about it. I kind of like it, but compared to the others, you know, you feel like it's missing something, which it is. So we'll see. I'll continue with that one and the one on the easel as well. So this is it. This is where I work. This is where I spend most of my time. It's pretty nice to have a visitor every now and then, other than a deer or a turkey buster or a fox. They don't talk. I yell at them, talk to them, but they don't talk back. So anyway, I spend a lot of time there. Most of say a month, 30 days out of the month, I'm here 24 of those 30 days. Every now and then I get back into D.C., see family and friends, and just sort of recoup. I feel like a hermit up here sometimes. I'm just doing my thing, and you know, it feels good. It feels real good.
So yeah, those are images that have been with me since back in the days of corporate. I spent a couple of summers up in Maine doing a couple of workshops, fine art photography workshops with the school, and you know, the place was full of old pine trees that seemed to dance in a way, and you know, I captured some of those images and started incorporating in my art. At one point, I built a whole body of work around those trees and other things out in nature. But like I said, that was the beginning of everything. It's kind of stuck with me all these years.
There are several paintings of the pines of Maine in the exhibit that's down at the Howard University Art Gallery now. But as you can see, the trees grew up, they lost their limbs, they started taking on various shapes and forms. You know, they came out of the ground, they weren't planted anymore, they were sort of free in open space to do whatever they wanted to do, to bend and form and do whatever they felt. And it just gave them the freedom to. It's been a good year. It's been a very productive year. I'm looking forward. I try to see what's happening down the road, but that's impossible to do. But I have so much that I want to get on canvas now, and you know, I'm looking forward to getting it on canvas and then getting it out to you guys so you can take a look at it and see how you feel about it. I hope you like what you see today. If you have time, make your way down to Howard University. You'll see another 25 paintings of mine on exhibit down there. And with that, thanks for coming, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.